Hello, and welcome to Women's Wellness Wednesday, where I, your host, Tyreka Bright, will go over some pertinent topics in reference to women's wellness. Whew, today is Wednesday. Let's wind down. Let's take a minute. Let's collect ourselves. I know I need to. Again, I'm a mama on a mission. I have a toddler who is very active and currently is screaming. So I need to check my wellness and get focused. Um, today is Wednesday, February 8th. The weather was phenomenal today. The sun was out. I went out to run a few errands, and it was busy. Folks was out enjoying the weather, the tidbit of good weather that it was. So shout out to today. The sun was shining. We need it. It is good for the skin. So yeah, today we have our special guest, Shahdae Holland. Shahdae is a friend of mine. She's an excellent resource advocate for children. I've known her for a number of years. She's almost like family. She's a cousin. So Shahdae, she's an educator. She has her master's degree in education. I'm sure she is in the runnings to become a principal. So be sure to cheer her on if you know about that, or just a silent prayer. Okay. She's not yet backstage. All right. Let's give her a minute. Shahdae is a wonderful woman. She is filled with laughter. Again, like I said, a plethora of information. So I'm so glad to have her. Let's get into, I did some WebMD stuff. Okay, good. She's here. So let's bring her on. Shahdae. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Aries
Girl,
Queen.
listen,
Good morning.
this StreamYard stuff gets slow.
You got to get the angle.
I know it's about the angle, but listen,
Right.
It's about the content, really. The angle is going to be the angle.
Right. The
Such
content is going to be fierce. So I was just giving a small intro about you and everything that you bring. You are a ray of light. I am so glad you're here with us. You are a ray of light. Yes. And so
how you doing today?
I got a lot going on. My toddler is screaming.
Listen, he needs the guitar.
He needs his guitar. Yes.
He does.
I didn't close 2 doors, and I still feel like I feel it through my bones.
Listen, sometimes it's one of those days. It was a beautiful day.
It was. We touched on that a bit. I said I'm trying to reel in my wellness with everything that's going on around me.
With life that's happening, because life is lifing.
Right. life is definitely lifing.
It is.
Right. So this evening, I wanted to touch on depression a bit. I wanted to touch on therapy. I wanted to touch on real life. I wanted to touch on single parenting. So
for real. I'm trying to figure out what the E is going to stand for. Living in for real. I don't know. I'll get the E soon.
It's going to come. It's going to come.
Drop in my spirit like everything else does.
But those are the 3 things that I wanted to touch on: depression, therapy, and single parenting.
Absolutely.
Shahdae, do you believe in therapy?
Absolutely. 100% believe in therapy. Let me just say, as a social worker, by degree, social worker by heart, social worker because I have a love for people and for community. I understand the depths and the reality of, like we said earlier, how life lives. And I think there's a huge stigma in the African-American community that we always hear, can't nobody tell me what to do. I don't need a shrink. I don't need to sit on the couch. However, what people don't realize is a real therapist, one that's really good at what they do, they're going to challenge you. And oftentimes, Black people don't like pushback.
It's uncomfortable.
Black people don't. The heck, they ain't trying to be uncomfortable.
No.
That's why they do the things that they do. And
they choose, they switch up. You don't want nothing uncomfortable.
No. And so a real therapist is going to challenge you. They're going to ask you the right questions. And what you don't even realize is you're really figuring out the things that you need to do for your toolbox. Okay. So really coping skills and conflict resolution skills and how to just look at things from a different perspective, because that's really what life is about, perspective.
personal perspectives.
Absolutely, because your perspective is your reality. And a lot of times people project their truths onto you. However, when you go to therapy, because we carry so much stuff, especially
Right,
as African American women, we take care of our children, our loved ones, our friends, the
right,
dog, Brother Jones up the street. We carry on a lot of stuff. So
right.
oftentimes we don't know how to unpack those stuff. And then for our good brothers that's out here, I mean, it's just hard enough to be a black. I'm not a black man, but from what I hear from a lot of my male friends and the things that are up against them, and then depending upon how they were raised, the common, you don't cry, you don't do this, you don't do that. And a lot of times, black men don't have a space.
A safe
Oftentimes,
space.
a safe space. It could be in their home, their
Right,
relationship. That's why a
right.
lot of people dip out. That's a different topic for a different day.
Okay,
But they need a
okay.
safe space to be them, to
Yes.
be themselves, and to unload. So I am a
Strong advocate for therapy, it sounds
strong
like.
advocate of therapy. I've been in
Yes.
therapy, we'll say 7 years, five
Okay.
with shout out to
Yes, you
Dr. Victoria Wright Adams, who has unpacked
are. Yes.
my childhood trauma, and just things in my childhood, up into early adulthood.
Okay.
And then my current therapist for the past 2 years, shout out to Dr. Dean Saunders, both African
Brilliant.
American, both thorough, and both who have seen me in dark spaces, which I choose not to live on that block no more.
So excellent choice. I definitely want to highlight that. It's we don't have to stay in it. There are tools, there are resources, there's help. So excellent that you're choosing to do what's healthy and
Life
what's
is
needed
about
for you.
choices.
Um, how do you feel about a female therapist, having a male client and vice versa? Does that work? Have you seen that work? Would that work for a woman who's going for a gamut of things?
Come on, stand in the back. He's make a joyful noise.
Them
Make a
lungs,
joyful
them
noise.
lungs. I'm trying to
Make a
keep
joyful
well.
noise.
I'm trying to stay
No, let him do
calm.
his thing. I love it. Okay, because
Ooh.
I'm a dean, so I'm used to noise. That's little noise.
Right.
Um,
Okay, she read out literature
I
stuff.
think it's all about, once again, perspective and what works for
True.
you. At that time, in my life, I knew I needed therapy because, and I won't take up too much time.
No,
I
you
was
said
about 25. My best friend had passed away at the age of 29 from stage 4 ovarian cancer.
I'm sorry.
My father, who has had cancer my entire life, was in rehab. And my daughter's godmom was everything. She was,
You
quote
spoke very
unquote, my baby daddy.
yes.
As a young single mom, she had always been there. So, can you pick Alicia up, drop her off? I have
That's
class this
important.
day. She would rearrange her work schedule. So, to
That's
watch
important.
somebody who I hung out with all the time transition
In
was a
such a
lot.
way.
And
Yeah.
I knew then I needed help because I was drinking. I was in relationships or being around people who weren't
Things that
healthy
didn't serve you.
at
Yeah.
all. And I knew I wasn't the best me for my daughter. I had already struggled in that, my 20s is a very dark time of my life. Being a
Okay.
young single mom isn't
Single
something
mom. I want to touch on that.
no one really signs up to do, and what comes with that when you are a young mom, because again, being a parent don't come with a rule book. It's not like
No.
baby and a receipt.
Listen.
So you already have a lot against you because I'm 18, I'm pregnant.
Okay.
You got my family, my father
So
telling me
you were still in school.
I found out I was pregnant straight out of high school. Yeah. I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I ain't gonna be nothing. Who gets pregnant? Family talking about you. I mean, it was craziness.
That's
At
okay.
18 and still having to figure it out. But one thing was college wasn't an option. I had to go.
Okay.
So I didn't go necessarily to Clark Atlanta.
Right.
I
But
went
you
to
went.
Westchester 3 months pregnant,
But I went.
and it had been on ever since. So I lived in a dark space for an extremely long time.
Thank you
And
for
so
sharing that transparency. I want to
therapy
recognize that.
is really what saved my life.
So shout out to therapy. I like that we're emphasizing that more and more these days. You'll see it in memes. You'll see it in posts. I know we're a big advocate here on the big exclusive network of safety, health, unity, wellness. So therapy.
I
Check
think
in on your loved
COVID
ones.
really shined the light on, because it was a time everything was shut down and people had to face their truths. A lot of people aren't used to being still and being it
You
with
were closed
themselves
in.
and
Yeah.
being with their thoughts. So to have that moment of self when everybody was going crazy. I mean, when COVID dropped, was coming out. I mean, you're always, when you start your healing journey, it's nonstop. It's no different than people who are in recovery. The 12 steps don't stop.
No.
I
Once you're in
got to
recovery,
go
you're
back
always.
to step one, which is step one. You got to
Mm,
acknowledge that there's a problem. 12 steps are everything. I don't
wow.
care what addiction it is. Everybody should learn the 12 steps. And
Okay.
so, first, acknowledging there's a problem helps you to acknowledge that, you know what,
That's
I
a
need
tip.
therapy. I need an outside person who's going to help me navigate through my thoughts before someone gets hurt or I hurt myself.
That's deep.
So, COVID really,
That's
that's
deep.
when you really started seeing everybody talk about, because therapy is not new.
No.
Like,
It's new. It's not new, but it's new to the brown and black community. Like it's not new to us, but we need to emphasize it more so it's not rare, that it's a common thing. That one
you're
out of 10,
starting to
5 out of 10
normalize,
girlfriends should be in therapy. Five out
right?
of ten, it should be.
It's starting to be normalized. And you know what's sad in our community? We have to see somebody famous go through something for them to be like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Versus, something's wrong. The resources is there. You
There's
don't
shame.
know,
There's
right? You don't know until you try it. And
right.
oftentimes we don't try it. So we automatically go off of what we assume.
Or what somebody's saying.
Right. And guess what? Maybe the one therapist you go to doesn't work. So
Don't give
what
up.
do? You go someplace else. It's just like if you don't like the Wendy's on 69th Street. Okay,
Go
then
sit in line.
hello. You try that one.
Switch
And
it
you
out.
find will work for you.
You switch it out. You switch it out. There's nothing wrong
Yes.
with switching it up, and don't give up. And that's key. If something doesn't suit you, that's okay. There's other things that may suit you. Different. Anything. Everything is not cookie cutter. What's good for Shahdae
Mhm.
is not good for Tyrika.
Right. And what
So
therapist works for me may not work for you. But the thing is, in order for anything to work, you have to work.
yeah.
You have to put the work in. You have to acknowledge your stuff, because let's
Mm,
be honest, we ain't always right. We mess up, and that's okay. But
right.
you have to be in a space where you're ready to put that work in and acknowledge your craft.
Receive it though.
And
Receive
people
it.
aren't. And the thing with a real therapist, for the most part, they're going to check you professionally, unless you have a good one where you had, like Dr. Victoria. By the time I was on year 5, and the only reason why I stopped seeing her was insurance purposes,
Okay.
because she became independent. And I mean, she's amazing. I send
Mm,
everybody to her.
okay.
Dr. Victoria got to a point where she could check me nicely, and it's like, you know what, you're right. You're right. I gotta own that. I
Yeah.
could have did things differently. What I like about Dr. Dean is we focus a lot on the wise mind, because
Mm,
I'm focused more so now about adulthood and what it looks like. I'm still young, but now parenting a young adult and making career changes and choices,
choices.
and
Right.
dating, what comes with that, and dating as an empty nester. So therapy changes, and I'm at a point where I'm not every week, but now I made the decision to go every 2 weeks, because I have the tools that I need to make healthier
Because you
decisions.
put in the work.
Right,
And
but
it
he's
wasn't
still
always like that.
hell no.
Yeah, it wasn't
But
always like that.
he's still around for if I need to check in.
What
And
do you
shout out
say
to
is the
everybody in the comments.
Yes, I wanted to
It's
get to
fun
that.
ride.
Good evening. A Bleak Exclusive is saying, what do you say is one of the most important tools you took from therapy?
Oh, for myself, one of the most important tools, I think I just said it, is using the wise mind. A lot of
Okay.
times we make decisions and emotions. And it's okay to take a minute to step back and say, you know what, I'll respond later. And sometimes everything doesn't deserve a response. So really just staying in my wise mind. And also, so I'm going to say that's one.
Okay.
Another thing is staying true to my needs and what's important for me when I know I'm off. So I always talk about what makes me happy. A lot of people aren't happy. Let me just be honest. This might be off topic, but
no, it's flowing.
There's a lot of people out here in these streets who are not happy. When you walking down the street, people's faces frowned up and they look, you can feel that. And oftentimes we talk a lot about these kids. I mean, we can go on and on about the youth, but when you come from a dark household, that stuff festers. When you live in a dark environment, it festers. Why do you think when you go away and you're rejuvenated, and the moment you touch down back here, you're like, oh, it's just dark and gloomy.
Nature versus nurture. I'm big on that.
What things make me happy? So live music.
Right.
I know I love Eric Benet. Everybody know I love UGO. When I don't hear my band or go to some type of live, I need to hear, not go to the bar and listen. No, I need to hear a saxophone. I need to hear the piano. I need to hear people that
soothes you.
Yeah, and it refills my spirit, because when you're constantly pouring into everybody, you got to refill somebody. That's another thing. And I think the last thing is, don't dim my light. And I've done that for years. I've kind of dimmed who I am because I'm bubbly, I'm loud, I'm fun. People can, you always hear, oh, you Joe, you hype. No, you just dark and mad and ugly. So you stay there.
I love that. I love that.
Stay there.
I love that.
And I stay here in my lane, and you stay in your, because there's lanes for everybody.
Right.
Right. I can't dim my light because of whatever you're going through. And I've done that a lot to make people feel comfortable. And I'm just not too old. And I'm just not.
I like that. Your energy is infectious. And that's one of the things that I love about Shahdae. She exudes that. And, she also makes it okay. And when I'm struggling, when I need a moment, I know I can get my cup filled. I know she could turn, something that feels heavy into something light. And that's a wonderful trait to have for people. So no, you're not too Joe. No, you're not too bubbly. I think that is those are amazing traits.
And to the people out there who are happy, we need more happy people in the world. I tell my kids that all the time. Yes. Let these ugly people who mean and nasty and bullies and let them stay over there.
And if you don't have nothing nice to say, go back to the basics. Don't say anything at all.
Right? It's okay to laugh. It's okay to smile. It's okay. But again, people are carrying so much. Sometimes they don't even realize that's what they're giving off.
Right. We can get into the comments for a second. Good evening, everybody. Lamont. Thank you for coming in. Tiffany, thank you for sharing. Hey y'all. Miss Clark. I literally just talked about that on FB. Yes.
What did Miss Clark on Facebook?
So single parenting. What do that we could talk for hours about it. I want to talk specifically about what I specifically want to talk about, how does the baby mom receive the new spouse of the baby dad, and vice versa? What does that look like? Why does that relationship always, is that a beautiful one? Do we see it often? Why is there tension? I feel like there's tension. I'm giving some of the things that I have thoughts about it. Why do we judge that woman? Why does that woman judge me?
Sometimes I ask myself, is it a cultural thing? Hill Harper has a book called The Conversation. I always talk about this book because it is heavy. It's a book on dating, and it looks at the aspects of different cultures and how they interact with each other. And one thing he discussed in the book is African Americans really the only culture who dogs are men out, dogs are women out. Okay. I mean, music, videos, movies, a lot of conversations, constantly. And we see these other cultures that they stick together. I often think about, we're from the main line. So how often you see, Caucasians, white people who parents are divorced, but everybody's together.
They come over for holidays. Right.
So I grew up in a blended family, right? I'm the youngest of my dad I have two older sisters and a step brother. I mean, I call him my brother because we don't do halves and step. And my father was married to my sister's mother. When they were young, they divorced and they legit lived across the street. Like, walk out your door across the street. My sister's mother was remarried. Me and my mom lived around the corner. So close. I come from a blended family. I cannot recall a time where I seen my mom and my sister's mom argue or be ignorant or be disrespectful. And even now, because my dad and mom separated when I was 3. If I have something, or my daughter or my niece and nephew, and my mom is there and their mom is there, our mothers embrace each other because the common factor is the children.
Right.
Nobody cares about, everybody's experience with him was different. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't necessarily the best. My sister's mother was married. My mom was, the single parent, but the mothers embraced each other. Today,
there we go. There we go.
I don't know what is happening because it's like, I can only speak from my experience. Okay. I was a young mom. I broke up with my daughter's father when she was 3 months old by choice. I was in college. I worked 2 jobs and there was no hustle drive from him. He was 3 years older and I just couldn't do it no more. And that's okay. He moved on and decided to date. And it was like, from the moment I walked out the door, it was an instant attitude. She had a MySpace page for me. She wasn't going nowhere. It was crazy. And it was a part of the darkness in my life because I'm battling with you, battling with him, because I'm asking for little stuff. Can you pick her up? Can you drop her off? Right. Can you pick her up from my dad's house? Can you take her to my mom's house?
Right.
I'm battling with, it was just too much.
Nothing.
And so you constantly hear that story, then they want to look you up on MySpace and
I'm cute.
Don't do that because you're going to hurt your own feelings. Okay. You hurt your own feelings. It's okay. But you constantly hear that. And even, with my girlfriend sometimes, I'm going to look up and see what his new girlfriend, why are we going through that? Like, we have to stop that. Because again, everybody,
we don't need to do that.
Right. Everybody's experience is different. Hopefully your experience with him is better than my experience.
And hopefully with your experience with him, if you're the current and I have a daughter, where's the code of conduct to be like, take care of your daughter? Well, he's not taking care of his daughter and you lay with this man.
Yes. And so I often wonder that. Women who are okay.
Me too.
Because I've dated a guy. Everybody's going to tell you a story that makes them look good. Nobody's going to sell a story where they're a bad person. That's very rare. Some people can own it. I was with such and such. I cheated. I was with such and such. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Okay. But when it comes to the kids, that's a different story. Nobody's really saying, I was with her. Like, there's no woman that I know that says, I want to be a single mom. I want to struggle. I want to do this by myself.
Okay.
Unless you're really that bitter and that angry. I've never interacted with those women, so I don't know. I hear they exist. However, I hear they exist. However, the average woman is one thing. I can't stand him. He gets on my nerves, but guess what? He takes care of his kids.
That's it.
It's another thing. I can't stand him. He gets on my nerves. He don't do nothing for his kids.
And he don't do nothing.
That's a different.
That's not fair.
As a woman when somebody's not. And so I've dated that before and been like, this isn't going to work. Because you can't be over here with me participating in activities with me and my child. And I know, and I get it. I don't expect when we first meet, I'm going to meet your kids. But after a certain amount of time, certain things you should know. If we're at the mall and I'm getting stuff for my kid and I don't see you walk out with a bag or two for your children, those are flags for me.
There you go. There you go.
And people who take care of their kids don't need to say, I take care of my kid.
It shows. It shows.
Like with anything else, with your job, with who you are. If you're a good person, you don't have to say you're a good person.
Shahdae, we had a question. Shahdae, what do you do for a living? I'm sorry, I thought I spoke about that.
It's okay. I am a climate manager or dean for the school district of Philadelphia. I think you gotta have a passion to work with kids. Okay, this ain't a weak or weary job. But I've been at my school. I'm down the bottom for the past 5 years, K-8 school. Okay. So I'm in the trenches with kids, with families, with schools all the time.
Do you guys have within the school? Do you have workshops for parents to get
So I'm getting a new hot water tank, so you'll probably hear my alarm. Keep going on. Okay.
Thank you for that. It's okay. That's okay. Do you guys have things groups for parents?
Parenting classes? We just talked about that in our leadership class actually today, because we're talking about where is the disconnect, a lot with technology, a lot with parent engagement, and that is the biggest thing. This is why I like Lean on Me. Okay, let's shout out to Joe Clark, because we laugh at his role and we think it's a joke, but we need more Joe Clarks, not only in the schools but in the community. And one thing Joe Clark said when they were in the gym, and he made all the parents put their hands up, was you can't expect the kids to read and multiply and all this stuff if the parents don't know how.
So it starts at the home.
I mean, I always say that. I mean, there's a old proverb that says, first, true education starts in the household.
Right.
Now, you can look at it different ways, right? There are, historically, we get it that the masters didn't want us to know how to read or write. So when you know your history, you're going to push education. My dad was big on that. None of us had an option for college. Me and my sister.
I feel like I knew that. Was that a stressor though? Like, not, was it something that you wanted to do?
I think more so because my grandmom got accepted to Harvard, but when they found out she was African American, they took it away. And my dad understood.
Say that again. That's some history. What'd you say?
My grandmom got into Harvard. When they found out she was African American, they took her acceptance away.
Shout out to her.
So my grandma pushed, education for my dad and his siblings. And my dad's thing understood growing up in the main line is, he always said to me as a kid, you got to fight twice as hard than your white counterparts. Even when talking, I couldn't use like and I used to get jacked up.
That's it.
Or start that sentence over. He understood the options that you had. And not saying today, people will say college isn't for everybody. But guess what? You got to have something. It's not college, it's a trade.
Right.
But you got to have something, because you got to be able to set yourself apart. And so it should start at home.
I was going to say that it should start at home.
Some people argue that it doesn't, but you can always tell. Even my parents at my school who may have dropped out due to whatever life circumstances, they're harder on their kids, and they'll tell you their story. Everybody has a story.
So there's really no excuse. Like a lot of people say, if you don't know any better, or the saying is, if you knew better, you do better. That's all. That's solid. But we need to teach. If they don't know, you still have to provide them with the tools. And at some point, they need to be comfortable enough to tell you.
I think need to be back, especially in urban schools. We have to bring back parenting classes. We have to bring back just social emotional learning.
Showing up for parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, but that's a different.
It is, but it's wellness in a nutshell, because we're women and we're mothers. We're moms on a mission. At least I am. I'm a mom on a mission. I got a son to get up out this city. I have a lot to figure out. So I want
this house phone. So shout out to people who still got a house phone. That's the player line. I don't know who.
Angry OG said something last week.
Excuse, your mom didn't teach you how to, but you figured that out.
That's it.
Yeah, and after a while, you figure things out as you get older, and depending upon experiences and who you keep yourself around. But like they say,
company.
Yeah, if everybody in your squad don't know, then y'all gonna hang out
looking around, looking goofy because
right.
you're not, no one's, no one's pushing the envelope. So you have to take that leap and be like, well, y'all, let's go try yoga. Well, yeah, them white people do that. Yeah, I know it's cool, but deep breathing, meditation, centering yourself, doesn't that sound decent? It's not just for, you know what I mean? So we have to,
Mhm. And I think as you get older and you start having different circles of friends,
there you
right?
go.
You're the
That's what you
smallest
just
person
said.
in your circle. It's time. Yeah, and it's okay to have different circles. I have a turn up circle. I
Right.
have my educated circle. I have my listen to jazz because everybody don't want to listen to jazz like me. You know, they say
Yeah.
I'm an old person.
Right. 70.
Fine. I go listen. Everybody has a different circle, but you also need that friend that's going to challenge you
Absolutely.
to do new things and to hold you accountable.
That's true. That's true. What
Hey,
is it? Hey, yes. Hello. I'm trying to get to y'all and think of something and get to y'all. Exactly. If you're the smartest person in the room, Shahdae, how do you feel about, so you're an educator in the school. How do you feel about women who choose to homeschool their kids or families?
I think any form of education is good.
Okay.
I think with anything there's pros and cons. Comes with everything in life. The downside might be your child isn't around or doesn't have that interaction around other kids.
Right.
And this is my theory. Who am I? But I say it all the time. I
Perception. Go
can
ahead.
tell adults who were never the line leader. I can tell adults who were never chose to be on somebody's dodgeball team. I can tell adults where they've never sung happy birthday to them. It shows as you get older.
Wow.
The attention seeking, the tantrums, the acting crazy,
It
it all stems from childhood.
and in adulthood. I see adult tantrums all the time.
And I'm telling you, it starts when they're a kid. I'm at work sometimes. I'm like, I can tell they were never the line leader. The line leader, let me tell you how important that position is, baby. Kindergartners kill each other.
Listen, and the confidence that you need. The confidence.
I'm the line leader.
But listen, that line leader, she's been, somebody poured into her, somebody poured into them or poured into him.
Because
you can be the best.
Line leader, we see you. But guess what's also important? The caboose. We gotta hype the caboose up, okay? Because we need you at the back.
That's it. Round it up.
Everybody tight.
Oh, I was the anchor in track.
Look,
bring it home. Bring it home.
There it is. All these positions as a kid.
Yeah.
That's why when you
celebrate them, though, you
really think about it, and as an adult, when you really reflect back, you know the people who've had great childhoods because they'll talk about it. But them people with them challenging childhoods, you see it. You see it.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Yeah.
So
I was a line leader and safety president and on honor roll. I know that's right. That's it.
Okay. Childhood stuff, singing happy birthday, like you said, celebrating people. Oh, I goes all out for the birthday.
All the time.
I singing. Miss Holland, it's my birthday. Well, we about to do it up in here.
That's it.
Let's give a shout out to.
Yeah. And that's going to stick with them. They're going to remember Miss Holland did that.
It is. Because guess what? There's so many adults when they get older, they ain't doing nothing but looking stank funky on their birthday.
So
big exclusive March what? Because if you're a March Aries, you know, if you're a Pisces, that's one thing. You know, these fish. But I'm all for the Aries season. So get back to
Pisces.
He's all the Aries. Shout out to you guys that's on here.
Always. They're two Aries bringing you content and full of effect. So dating. Can we touch on that?
Let me sit.
And with wellness.
It's love season.
It is love season. It's February. I wanted to, shout out to love season. Shout out to Valentine's Day.
She's a March Aries.
Holla.
You're part of the Aries Queen.
That's it.
Yes. Shout out to you.
Automatically. But it is February. It's love. You have this. You have some people who talk about, oh, I hate that day. I'm wearing black. Just stay home.
That's okay.
It's not for you. But I don't think you should plaster it on the internet. I don't think you should take it away from those who are in healthy relationships and, put up, how your man ain't SHIT. Like it ain't for you. Like I just,
Love is really a beautiful
Every
thing.
day is love season. It is
Every
actually.
day. You're
Yes.
right. Every day is. And it's such a beautiful thing. And guess what? I think we spend so much time thinking about like my man or my woman. The love of your friendships. That type of love is undeniable. Listen, I want to shout out my best friend who is a guy,
Mm,
27 years.
I
He's a
know.
March Aries. Oh Lord. Lord knows I love that man.
Yes.
That is my guy. Why? Because I can truly and authentically be myself. And when you have healthy relationships like that, because that's another discussion too. People be like, men and women can't be friends. Listen,
Yes, they
in
can.
2023, when people are committing suicide and overdosing on drugs and driving themselves off a bridge, I don't care if you're best friends with the black cat. If that black cat allows you to be your true self, then be friends with the black cat, irregardless. And that's just where I am. When you truly love somebody, you have to
Mhm.
celebrate that because we always say life is short, but we don't truly live as such. And when you do, you enjoy being around those people who make you feel safe. And oftentimes we just hang with people because we've known them for years, but you still know you tiptoe around what you talk to them about.
Yes.
Huh. I know if
And
I
that's
call
not
that man,
fair.
I'm talking to him about everything, even if I'm dead wrong. I could be dead wrong. He gonna listen, and then he gonna say, "What made you do something like that, yo?"
How true that is. And a lot of people don't have that. And
Yes,
because, and we
you
need
gotta
that.
celebrate that love.
Mhm.
Luther said it best. Love
Get
is
into it.
listen, so amazing that I love Luther. Every love song Luther says, I'm like, yes,
Big
yes,
Luther and Little Luther. Luther
yes.
all
But so
through it.
amazing to be loved. I'll follow you to the moon and skies above. That's my song. So shout out to love. Shout out
Yes.
to love.
And all that it brings. Some of the comments. I never would have made it without my inner circle of friends. That's a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be 10 people. It could be a strong five. You're starting five. It could be two. Whatever your
Right.
inner circle is, that outlet is important to have. That foundation,
And
that
you have to
sound
pour
box.
into it, like any relationship. Because sometimes, let's be honest, as we grow older, we fall short. Life happens.
Yes.
We get caught up in our own stuff. And so relationships change, but you have to pour in it. I don't care if you say every third Friday of the month, I'm meeting you at Copa, and that's just going to be
Show
our
up.
spending time. You have to, because
Important.
one thing that I miss about my best friend, Natalie, I wish that I still had a second to still fuss because I was the
Mm,
fussing Aries. She was the nice, loving, forgiving Aries. And I strive daily to be as forgiving. I've just arrived on that
ooh,
block of forgiveness. It has
mm,
taken me 37 years, but she was always the forgiving friend.
right.
I wish I still had her around. I wish I could still call her and laugh.
Mm,
And although we've always hung out, but to watch her decline, those things,
mm.
I can honestly say that I've never missed a beat, even with her transitioning. However, the selfish side of me still wish that she was here. And so I'm big on friendships.
Friends,
I
how many
feel
of
like
us
you
have
have
that?
to pour into them, you have to spend time, and you just have to celebrate each other because
That's
you just
important.
never know.
When you give
You hear me,
genuine
Miss
wholesome
Carter? Let's say Aries in that.
when you give genuine wholesome love, you get it back tenfold in everything that you do. Yes, Miss Brown, that is so true. Miss Carter, her soul tribe is everything. Safe spaces are amazing. That is so true.
Safe spaces
Um,
are necessary. We got to
women's
cultivate our
wellness.
safe spaces
This is
because
this
people
is
don't have them. And my theory, I think that's why brothers be out here creeping. They don't have a
listen.
safe space.
We want
They
to give
don't
all
have
women
it.
a safe space, and this platform on
Yes.
the big exclusive network on Wednesday. Women's Wellness is a safe place to conversate, inspire, and motivate. And we're gonna be dropping some gems. That's the key right there. I have to feel safe. That's true, big
Oh,
exclusive, and
y'all,
not too
y'all
many people
talking.
feel safe. That's true.
You
Um,
hear me? That is
Sade,
what
what
my
does
heart
wellness mean
says.
to you?
Who?
Sade, what does wellness mean to you, and what do you do for self care?
So, like I said, I've been in therapy forever, so it has taken me a long time. That's why I can answer these questions like boom, 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 boom.
I appreciate that.
Wellness to me is peace. Wellness to me is mind, body, soul. I think a lot of time we focus on the mind, but it's holistic. And I
Mm.
want us as African Americans to stop just, you know, health is like the entree, right? It's not
Okay.
we do a lot of a la carte. So we might be in therapy, but you still ain't eating right.
Mm.
Or you ain't eating right and mentally you jacked up. We got to start working on our whole well-being. So for Shahdae Holland, wellness is mind, body, and soul. So boxing, I love boxing. Shout out to King Tyson Rec Center. I love working out. I just found a spin class, hip hop
Okay.
spin, 6 a.m. It's a quick death, but it's fun. Um, it's
Okay.
called Spin with Wit. If you live near the Drexel Hill area, I go 6 a.m. They have 6:30 classes, but it's a lot of fun. They do glow in the dark. She does different artists, and it's 12 bikes, and it's very intimate, and I enjoy that. I enjoy when the weather breaks, going down the art museum, running the
Mm.
steps or walking. I
Mm.
enjoy car rides. I am a karaoke queen. Y'all want to get in the car and sing? Come
Yes.
holler at your girl. Um,
Healthy,
also,
healthy. Yeah, all healthy things.
yeah, I like going to eat. So I don't like staying in Philly. I am quick to be like, you want some soup? Let's go to Baltimore for some clam chowder. Want to
Right.
go to brunch? Let's drive up to New York. I can't be confined here no more.
Tiffany, spin class is so much fun. Tiff, you spin class?
Spin is amazing.
I don't. I
Why
said,
nobody like
it's like,
Ben drag my behind the spin?
woo,
I just
sweat.
ordered me a bike seat. Like I got my bike seat because if you hurt your butt, I'm
Yes.
ready. Let's do this.
Got your equipment.
Let's go. And
Okay,
then
Tiff,
when you
that's
really
woo.
invest in it, you feel like you are the spin master. I've been to spin class 3 times, and you would think
Listen,
I've been going.
celebrate small victories, small tasks, small goals. When I learned how to scan something, I was like, yes, I got it. You
Let me scan again.
yeah, and you got to do that. You know, I celebrate small victories all the time, and
Hmm.
there's a catch-22 to it because when disappointment happens, it's a blow because you really put in everything, and it's okay. It's the child, it's the bells. It's all right.
Okay,
Next
listen.
topic.
How will it take when? We got to
Okay,
get
next
that thing
topic.
back in, y'all.
That's it. But yeah, no, that's funny. That's funny. So, Sade, other
What
than
was that correctly? They wanted to know
what was
what
it?
was wellness and
Self-care. So I think you
oh, I
confirmed.
named all that.
Yeah.
And
What advice?
massages, I've had the same masseuse since I was 19. Shout out to Tim.
He's reading your mind.
Okay,
What
shout out to
advice would you give a 16-year-old for self-care? Perfect.
oh, 16-year-old, like anybody or the 16-year-old me. Because there's a difference in my response.
Well, you.
No, the 16-year-old me.
And then we'll go to the masses.
Oh, the 16-year-old
Because
me.
with the youth, you see them every day, so you can kind of speak on
Baby
both.
girl, you
Hey,
beautiful.
boo.
Baby girl, don't settle. Baby girl, you're worth more.
Okay.
Baby girl, do the damn thing. I wish people would have, my parents would have told me that. I wish I would have hung around people that told me that. I wish I had a group of friends who pushed me beyond, you know, the choices and the decisions that I was making then. I
What
think
would
it
you?
goes.
So that answer works with both. Did she freeze? I think we're good.
Did I freeze or did you freeze? I don't know. It keeps freezing.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds like a lot of positive affirmations you want to give the young ladies. You are beautiful. You are enough. Um, things of that nature. I think she is now frozen. So yeah, and I'd like to answer that question. What would I tell this 16, a 16-year-old girl
There
right
we
now?
go.
Here we go. We good? So
Yeah,
yeah.
my phone, my computer kept jumping onto my hotspot because
Oh,
my
okay.
The
This is
computer ain't
hilarious.
connecting. This is the DJ computer. Sorry, y'all.
Chicken, chicken.
That
It's cool.
right?
It's cool. We got some things in the works. So yeah, Shahdae, I like those positive affirmations for the young ladies. My 16-year-old self, I was too busy trying to think I was in love. So if somebody did take the time and explore, focus on sports, but I was in that situation because a void was being, I needed something, and that filled the void. So it is what
And
it
that
is. But
filled the void.
yeah,
If
it's
we could
filling the
only
void.
do it over again, right?
Yeah, I would do it over
But
again.
things happen for a reason.
They do. And you learn from that stuff,
You do.
you
You learn
know?
and you grow. And
Um,
I think that's why I love working with my kids. And even when sometimes I work part-time Philadelphia Youth Advocate Program. So that's kids who've been locked up, various reasons.
okay.
But talk to the young girls about those things because you see so much that goes on in the community. And especially my eighth graders that leave and go to high school and they come back, they be like, Miss Holland, you was right, all that fussing. I said, I'll be trying to tell y'all.
Lashes out to here,
I'll be
coming
trying
back
to
to
tell
visit.
y'all. And guess what? Lashes are okay.
They are.
I go back and forth because I put lashes on when I put makeup on, and I get it. It could be for various reasons.
It's
A
lash
boy,
is
you want to
lashes are
enhance
fine.
something, but
Right. But I don't
we
think
gotta start working on.
a freshman in high school, I don't think they should be out to here.
We gotta work on our core though. It's just like
Sure.
working out. Your core is your center to everything. Once you got a strong core, you can do everything else. And once your core and your heart is good, everything else
Genius.
follows.
We got
Come
a
on, that's
question.
a word from above. Okay.
What would you say to young mothers that feel stuck?
Listen, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Anything hard when you look back. I'm telling you, I get moments sometimes. I just look back and I cry and I just put my
Mm,
hands up and I say thank you because
Jesus.
this journey wasn't easy. When I
Never.
look at my daughter, my daughter is a freshman at Coppin State. Shout out to Coppin State.
Shout out to you.
Full ride. The Coppin, the Fannie Coppin Jackson scholarship. I remember walking around my school building last year saying, my daughter has to get a full ride. I can't afford it. Like, I know I have loans out my behind. I know who's not giving us any money. God, you got to bless this. And I remember when that scholarship came and I cried and I said,
Jesus.
God, I thank you because I know everything that I went through when she sends me selfies from school and she's smiling. If all that drama I went through with the ex-ghetto girlfriend and my daughter father didn't pick up and drop off and he ain't got it and all that stuff, if I had to go through all that to get to where she was, then God damn it, thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Because my daughter is a beautiful person. She's kind, she's smart, she's funny. She has a love for people, for the
You did
community.
a great job.
She has a heart. She's everything I wish I was her at that age. You know, she's if you're in the horoscope like astrology, she's an Aquarius, so she shows no emotion. I'm always the high one, but she's very kind. She's very loving. She's the Nana of her group.
Okay. She's loving like a
So,
good that's what I'm saying, Miss
so
Carter. Good
I
job.
am to young mothers, whatever you want to do, don't allow people around you. I don't care who it is, because my parents didn't say the nicest things to me. And sometimes
Mm,
we give people more than who they are because of a title. I get it. You're my mom, you're my dad.
say that.
However, sometimes parents can only give us what they had
Say
and
that.
when they had it. But that don't mean you're going to talk to me and say anything and it's going to be okay just because of that title.
I raised
So if you want to be the best stylist, then guess what? Find you a school. And guess what? You might can also find a sponsor.
there
The
you go.
universe has everything out here that we want. We limit ourselves to not get it because we hold true to we're a single mom. Now
If you
bump that.
if you could wave the magic wand and fix anything on this planet, what would it be and why?
Poverty.
Kindness.
I think poverty is the root to a lot that we see today,
Hmm.
right? We talk about gun violence all the time, lack of education, lack of food. Sometimes people, my kids, they just
Shelter.
mad and they hungry. I know sometimes I get frustrated because I'm hungry.
Right.
Poverty is the root to a lot. It's the root to darkness sometimes.
So
Um,
when you had said poverty, I said kindness,
oh,
and
I
you
mean,
know,
we could throw that in with poverty.
listen, blah,
It
it's the
don't
same
take much
answer.
to be kind.
It doesn't. And if the entire world, not everybody has to be on the same page, but simple kindness, culturally kind,
Well, let's start with the basics.
that's it.
Saying hello,
Being cordial, you can start there.
right? Good
That's it.
morning. That doesn't take a lot. People be walking down the street, face frowned up, and
Listen, sometimes you gotta say it twice because I know you heard me. So when I know
no,
you heard me and I say it
hello,
again, I'm forcing it out of you
good
because I want you
morning.
to have a good morning.
Oh, you should hear me in the back when my kids come in. I'm loud, fussing. Okay, I
Sure,
can fuss and then I smile. My kids be like, "What?"
they
Yes,
receive
I'm
it.
not holding on to it.
They,
Where your coat at? Good morning, love. How are you,
that's it.
beautiful?
Quick and easy. They be like, Miss Rick, you so crazy. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What's crazy is you don't
Yes,
have no coat on and it's 4 degrees out.
time because the laws of physics don't lie. What you put out comes
You
back.
get back. I
It
truly
comes
believe
back
that.
100-fold. You could be out, and the world is so small. Everybody knows everybody in some capacity, right?
It's
In
true.
some form or fashion.
That's
So
true.
you're gonna have, I tell people all the time, you're gonna have people who be like, I can't stand her. But that's their perspective. And ask them why. If you can't stand me, it's something behind that.
Because I know what I bring. I know what I
Right.
know what I give off. So I
Right.
don't want to,
So
don't dim
most
my light.
people are
Don't dim
gonna
my light.
say Holland crazy, she loud, she fun, she love the
Mhm.
kid. I'm always looking at the same thing.
Yeah,
Always
I agree. Yep, too close for comfort sometimes. Oh, yeah.
be kind. I tell people every day, just be kind. That's
What you
all.
mean by that? Big exclusive. Yep, too close for comfort sometimes. What you talking about? So, what do you want to leave us tonight with, Shahdae? I always like to,
We all over
third,
the
fourth show in. I want to leave, the viewers with something that they can take back from you, and then I'll give something as well. We want to motivate women. We want to celebrate women. This platform, the big exclusive network, is doing a great thing, and I want to keep it going. And when people watch the replay, when people are watching the live right now, I want to give them some tools that they can start off with.
This is like the 30-second Rika's recap.
I mean, it could be.
Okay,
I
I'm
like
just
that.
saying. I mean,
I like
30
that.
seconds is all player need.
That's it. Get into
All
it.
player need. Because we touched on a lot of stuff.
We
Listen,
did.
life is life in, and we're truly living in some dark times. You have to want to, because it is a mind over matter thing. The mind is a powerful muscle.
Okay.
If you want better, let's do it. Let's put in the work, but you got to be willing to put in the work. And the outcome is so true. I read and seen something that said when people get to the place where they're dying, there's 4 things, they wish they could have did over.
Right.
Told somebody I love them,
Right.
wish I would have, I'm sorry,
Mm.
and too bad that there's not a next time. You don't want to live in a time of regret. Life is always going to throw something at you, right? You got a choice. You can live in it and sulk in it, or you can get up and keep moving.
Come up out of it.
Yes. And I know it's hard because I stayed, my entire 20s was of darkness. It was not fun. But I
Cherry,
told myself I'm not living on Dark Boulevard no more.
thank you
And
for thank you for
when
sharing
the
that.
times come, I gotta pull into. Listen, let me put some Luther on. Let me go outside. Let
Recenter
me take a
yourself.
run. Right. Let me call my bestie to kind of shake me up. So I think it's time for everybody to kind of just, because we're still in the first quarter of the new year, do the things that make you happy.
Started off right.
Do the things that truly, unapologetically, and
Mm.
authentically make you happy at your core. And watch the change from within. Once the change from within starts happening, everything else follows suit.
Follows in suit. So even if you per se don't have it right now, take a minute to self-reflect. I think self-reflection, you find, a lot of stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly, where you want to start, what your aspirations are.
And again, let me say, this is 7 years therapy, 7 years work.
Yeah.
This is a new empty
Start
nester,
small. Right.
So I'm living in a new life now where,
Right.
I wish my daughter got, I mean, she's getting this part of me as a young adult, but I wish she had this healthy mom at 18, 19, when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. She didn't have this as a child. And so there's a lot of things, I apologize to my daughter. She's older now, so there are things she understands, she can grasp when it comes to where I was at mentally. But I'm telling you, it makes a difference.
You did a great job.
I had to put that disclaimer out because I don't want people thinking, oh, I'm just, no, I've always been happy. I've always been loud because that's my family. I've always liked the bus. Let me tell you right now, if your kids like the bus, tell them come over here because I'm going for it. But I've always was the life of the party. But now I just feel like I'm just in a different season, in a different space. And it's good when you're there and you get other people there. Like, come, it's like when you want people to join the church, come join. Like,
that's it. You get the collectives.
Yes. And get about the darkness. Come into the Lord's light. and just live. I'm telling you.
It's a great place to be.
I've been here. I need more sisters in this space.
Shout out. We need some females, which is why I love the fact that we have this space. We can get into a lot of different things. We talked about a lot this evening, and they
shout out to the ladies that's on here.
Oh, I know it. They're lovely. Deandra, thank you. Shonda.
Shout out to you sisters, and shout out to the brothers that might be on. But I'm sorry, Wellness Wednesday. I got to start with the ladies. Shout out to the ladies because keep y'all crowns on, adjust it. Let's get this work done.
I told you that today in the email. I just you checked on me, and I said, sis, I just got to readjust my crown. That's all that's going on. It was a little rough this morning, but you always pick yourself up by your bootstraps, dust them shoulders off, and keep going.
And start your morning off with, again, what makes you happy at your core. So I wake up, it gotta be music. It changes daily, but Saturdays is dedicated old school Saturday and Sunday, but some mornings it's Jada, some mornings it's Rick Ross.
Right. It depends on
it's Peebo Bryson. It depends how I feel, but
it gets the job done. And nobody feels the same way every day.
You might need to wake up and meditate. You might need to wake up and say a prayer. You might need to wake up and do 10 jumping jacks. But start off, the way you start is usually the way you finish.
Miss Carter, the music keeps my mornings flowing. Yes. Yes. She got it. A tip I wanted to leave you with, the recap, I think Shahdae called it. I've said this many times before. Showing up for yourself. I want to reiterate that. Showing up for yourself looks different in many ways. You can have a moment. Moments are healthy. You have to feel the feels, but don't stay there. Always show up for yourself and show the best version of yourself. So that's the tip. That's my wellness tip for everyone this evening. Show up for yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Can I comment on Miss Carter's? Because it goes up with show up for yourself. She wrote setting intentions. I really just started that.
I love that.
Setting intentions. I started that kind of last year when I got out of this, like, I don't know what I was in, 2 years ago. Let me say that. And I have posties on my mirror, so I read them every day. And I'm telling you, like, it has made such a huge difference. And even when I'm at work, I'll like walk the school building and say those things.
Right.
Girl,
it's important.
Sticking to them, because a lot of times we say a lot. We're gonna do this, but no, when you hold yourself accountable to this, and this,
I've been ready for it. Intentions, manifestation. Manifestation, intentions. Those are one of my golden rules. That's I live it. I can't talk much about it, can't talk enough about it, if you will. But I love that because I'm very intentional on the way I treat people. I'm very intentional on showing up for myself because there's years, dark places where I did not. So I want to encourage people, young and old, show up for yourself. You
Yeah,
owe that to yourself.
absolutely.
you know. Thank you. Thank you, Shahdae. I want to thank the Big Exclusive Network for having us this evening. Wait, talk about your show.
Oh gosh.
Please get into it. The Shahdae Hour. Tell the
10
folks.
seconds. So I'm Shadi, a part of the Shadi Hour on Heat 100 Radio. You can find us on heat100radio.com, or you can follow me on Facebook at Shahdae Holland or Miss Holland 85. I come on every other Saturday, so I'm going to have a show this Saturday. Rika, I wish you could come on, but it's okay. I'm doing a love episode, so I'm about to make a Facebook post. I love, and I would like good people to start meeting each other. I'm not saying they gotta be married, but I feel like I know a lot of good people and they just haven't crossed paths. And
Right.
so I would like the opportunity to introduce a good dude and a good
Your good
sister,
sister.
just to get to know each other. Again, y'all don't have to get married. Maybe y'all go out for a slice of pizza. I like simple dates.
Pizza.
And you never know where it could lead. I had two people actually meet on my Father's Day post. I'm big on Father's Day, and they're getting married. They met 2 years
Wow.
ago on a Father's Day post.
I
So
introduced a couple, my cousin and her husband, I introduced many moons ago, and now they're married. So I dig that. I
yeah,
love that.
so I want to do that. I'm also on Literally Anything podcast. I'm the first lady on there.
Ooh.
Every Thursday, season 3 starts tomorrow, and you can find them on YouTube. So shout out to them, myself, and
Right.
shout out to everybody on Big Exclusive Network. You guys are doing major things. So keep up the conversation because listen, we need it during these times. And as I
Everybody
always
needs
say
an
at the end
outlet.
of the shoddy hour, in
Yes.
a time that's so dark, be the light and be kind.
Thank you,
So we
Shahdae.
need that.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Thank you. So, everybody, that wraps us up here for our Women's Wellness Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. I,
Thank
Tyreka
you.
Bright, appreciate everyone. Ladies, you guys showed up and showed out. I mean, especially coming to the network. And that completes our episode for this evening. Thank you again.
Thank
Take care, guys.
you.